Welcome to the Snobs podcast.
Well, hello there. Welcome to the Snobs podcast Christmas Spectacular. I am your host, Mick Manhattan, the Scene Snob, and I am joined, of course, by always my delightful, majestical Mr. Mad-Man Casey Platt.
Well, hello, my good sir, and how are you on the most festivus of days?
Well, it's like 3 days before the most festivus of days, but I'll say this, it's the second best.
Mm-hmm. It most certainly is.
For sure. That is 100% true.
Because it's our Scene Snobs Christmas special.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
woo,
yeah.
Woo, woo, woo.
Let's get the dancing in. Jason, what's up, buddy? Thanks for joining in.
Hi, Jason.
All right. The real beard makes me sweat, and I doubt you can hear me talk through it. So I'm going to put on my my other hat here, my other festive hat. Blood out.
Kaboom.
Snobs.com. Okay, that's enough commercials for one day. I am getting festive again. I'm going to put on my Santa hat. There's no beard to mess with. But welcome, everybody, to, our Christmas Spectacular, the Scene Snobs Podcast Live. Our last show of the year. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I'm a little sad, but it's been an awesome year.
No, I mean, it depends on who you're looking at it from.
Right here for this. Don't look anywhere else. When I say it's awesome, it has been awesome here. All right. Don't put it like, oh, it was awesome outside. Stay inside. Inside, right here with you, our loving audience.
Yeah, I just screwed it up though. Jason told his kids that I was the real Santa.
Well, yeah, of course he is.
I still have the beard. I'm Jesus Christ, the JC.
Gee, can't you see? Looks just like him.
Couldn't stand for anything else. Yeah, I mean, I got a bowl full of jelly.
You're just jolly, buddy.
I am. I'm very jolly spirit, I suppose. I was visited by 3 ghosts last night.
Uncomfortable. Did they touch you?
No, really. It was quite enlightening. It actually, they showed me your past, present, and future and said, get this guy a cheeseburger stat and then have one with him in real life. That's what they were telling me.
I'm all right with that. Where's my cheeseburger?
I don't know. I had to do the show. That's what happens.
Dude, if you don't do what the ghost tells you, bad things happen.
Well, I think they said 2021. The ghost, the Christmas future said 2021 for sure will make it happen.
Okay, cool. So like vaccine time, so like burgers in August?
Listen, I'm all for it as long as everybody in the UK stays in the UK for a while. We love you. We love you, our UK brother, and we wish you very well.
Absolutely.
But
you got mad cow. You got to be careful with that mad cow. We don't play with the mad cow.
Let's just stay there for a bit, figure it out, get everything contained, which I know you will because you're a responsible bunch. But Casey, it's Christmas. Well, in a few days, but it's Christmas here.
Yeah.
And I wanna start this conversation off right.
Talking about the Carpenters, the greatest musical duo of all time, especially when it comes to Christmas time.
What? That is not true.
What? That
is not true.
Oh, you bite your tongue, sir.
That is 100% not true.
I disagree with you wholeheartedly. But you know what? I'm gonna have a little cup of cheer. You go ahead and figure out your next spot.
Are you just drinking straight vodka? Has 2020 done this to you?
No, it's actually worse. It's a seltzer.
There's nothing wrong with that. It'll give you the bubblies.
Yeah, exactly.
Mike, of course, is joining us. Mike, it's always great to see you, my friend. Merry Christmas to you and Jason for joining in, and everybody else who's watching or listening, even if it's in the future. Merry early Christmas, gents. Hope you're doing well. Thank you.
Super excited. Mike and I just became Facebook friends today. What?
Dude, go check out his show.
I have.
Very fun. That's the show, boys, everybody who's watching. And Jason is the 3 Geeks podcast, which is also a great show. You should go check them out as well. So I am not above plugging everybody.
Plug them all.
So tonight we're going to talk about a few things. We're going to step on the show boys' toes a little bit with this first one. And I want to open it up by talking about the that amazing season finale of The Mandalorian.
Whew. I mean, if you want to start, just start at the top, right? Because it was.
Well, we will be spoilers. Let's just say
Oh,
that.
yeah. Spoilers, everyone, because you can't not.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I feel like we gave you enough time.
You've had 4 days.
You can watch it. Just get it done. If you haven't watched in that time, you're not a fan enough to care about spoilers.
Yeah, I'm on like viewing number 4. So it's phenomenal.
So, all right, let me ask you this before we get into specifics.
Okay.
Which hallway lightsaber scene is now your favorite? Darth from Rogue One or this one?
I actually was just discussing this earlier, and I think it's fantastic that they managed to show both of them in their power with a hallway scene, showing what the Jedi and Sith can do against normal dudes and chicks, and they just get totally smoked. They got no shot, no chance. These are droids. These are huge droids that were able to, like, one was almost able to whoop the Mando. And, Luke Skywalker is just awesome.
The one thing I have to say about it, though, is their reasoning for droids is amazing to me, considering they gave a completely other reason for leaving droids and going to clones. It's like where are you at with this? I mean, come on, you guys did this before.
Bro, it's the Empire. They don't even know what they're doing.
Yeah, that's for sure. Moff Gideon, as much as I love him, he was great in the show. He was no Gus.
He gussed pretty hard.
He gussed pretty hard, but he was just short of the villainy that Gus provided.
That's fair, yeah, and he still had his whole face intact. So I mean, there's that.
I mean, if he's not half blown up, then it just doesn't matter. I have so many people pissed off right now. So I mean, it was kind of a heart-wrenching episode. It was pretty sad.
Yeah.
I want to say I did not see it coming, but I'm actually, from everything I've read, I'm happy with the decision for Grogu to kind of be off the show for a while.
Yeah, no, I understand what they're doing with it, and I like that. I think if we're going to go explore whatever they choose to explore now, most likely Mandalore, that'll be better without the kid, because it's going to get brutal.
Well, he's got to be the one to lead them, the Mandalorian. So we're going to see what happens, and we need him to be separate from that parenting role. I'm very anxious to see where they go with this.
Yeah, it's going to be neat. I just really want to throw out there that Jon Favreau did for Star Wars what J.J. Abrams did for Star Trek. And he took something I loved. He took something that I cherished as a child through my formative years and into adulthood, and they just knocked it out of the park with sincerity, with respect, and really just with heart. And it was great to see.
Yeah, I would go a little farther to say I appreciate JJ opening the door for new Star Trek to come back. And even like a new style Star Trek that's more action-packed. Mm-hmm. But I don't like what he and his team have kind of gone forward with doing. Like I don't love their direction.
With Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Trek.
Fair.
But I did love what Simon Pegg did with the third one.
Yeah.
So that door was open because of JJ. So I will give him that credit. Now, Jon Favreau, yes. Not only did he open the door, he stuck his lightsaber into the door, Qui-Gon style, and said, I'm taking this.
He did, and yet somehow, in the same breath, was gently caressing it and was being very kind and sweet and nurturing and cared for it, and then handed it off and went, there you go. You're welcome.
And look at the hands he handed it off to. So Jason's right, and Dave Filoni deserves a lot of credit for all his work on Clone Wars and everything else, especially all the animated Star Wars work, because that was what was holding it up to still this high tier of wonder. And they should be put in charge of the entire universe. I do agree. It is time for Kathleen Kennedy to go.
Yep.
but Disney is still figuring out whatever they need to figure out. And we'll go from there. But Favreau and Filoni, they are not going anywhere. And it looks, I have a very strong feeling they're going to be in charge of that. At least overseeing the Book of Fett.
I would assume they would have to be. They'll probably hand it off to different directors because, I mean, we saw how many Rick Fumiyama. Terrible.
God, he did such
I'm sorry. But yeah, he was fantastic. All the directors. Bryce Dallas Howard, for crying out loud, crushed it.
Oh, my God. And, I mean, Robert Rodriguez to come back and step into the front fold and just blow it out of the water. And he's going to have a much bigger hand in the Boba Fett because he directed the Boba Fett episode. So
that's right.
He's going to have like a bigger say in towards the direction of Boba Fett.
Do you think that actually pisses Tarantino off more because he's not getting his Star Trek movie?
I wish he would, though. That's not. I mean, if he needs to be pissed off at anyone, it's the minds right now behind Star Trek.
Whoa! Because Lower Decks is brilliant.
Yeah,
so
but
let's pump the brakes.
Look at everything we had to go with to get to Lower Decks. And Lower Decks, animation has never been fully respected in franchises.
Of course.
By the higher ups, by studios. If you get an animated, and that's why like animation is so free a lot of times. Like animation that's tied into franchises is very free a lot of times when it comes to studios because they're just kind of like, fine, do what you're going to do. It's probably not going to last anyway. So because it has that creative freedom, they tend to do a lot better because they're actually fans making the show,
I mean, which precisely was shown with Filoni in Clone Wars. I mean, He truly cared for those characters. He wanted to give that story the credence it didn't get from movie 2, Attack of the Clones. And he did it. It was beautiful.
Yeah, and I think The Mandalorian was one of those too, where it was kind of like Kathleen Kennedy's in charge. She is focused on making these movies. So when somebody came to Lucasfilms and said, we want to do a show like Favreau, and you're not going to say no to Favreau. Favreau is what gets it made.
Mm-hmm. Now, do you think that's because of Iron Man? Did that immediately give him that?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that he was the man. He was the architect that opened up the MCU. Mm-hmm. It would not have happened without that success from Iron Man.
Well, I think Fantastic Four opened that.
No, but everybody says that too. Like everybody said, it was him who opened the door, and he stayed on to produce a lot of the movies after because people felt safer with him there.
Yeah,
he even was like, everybody can just do it. I'll do Iron Man. And then after the second one, he was kind of like, I'm stepping off. I want to go do other stuff. Jason brings up a good point, but The Lion King came a lot later. The Lion King gave a lot of faith to him in Disney because because MCU wasn't a part of Disney when he kicked that all off. But The Lion King, stepping that in and seeing the success, and the Lion King. Oh, well, no, it was The Lion King, or was it Jungle Book? Jungle Book is what was the first one that he did for them.
Yeah, and Jungle Book was way better. I mean, Lion King isn't bad.
I kind of all mixed up.
The live remake of Lion King was fine, but it once again just didn't, to me, have the heart that the cartoon did. And it struggled a little bit because of that, as opposed to Jungle Book, which crushed it, maybe because of Scarlett Johansson as Kaa. I don't know, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of really good things about The Lion King. I did love the Jungle Book. Oh, he did do The Lion King. So I just want to make 100% sure. But what he did with The Lion King was great. I mean, it looked beautiful. Yeah, you're right. I would prefer the animated movie, but I do, like, my kids prefer the live action version. Really?
Oh, yeah. River is all about the animated, man. She is not a fan of the live actions.
So his best work was Monica's wannabe MMA fighter.
Oh, Brian. Hi, Brian.
Yes, he did start in Friends. What's up, Brian? Yeah, that is true. So I think it was Jungle Book, because Jungle Book was really the one that like kind of blew up. Mm-hmm. Remember, they tried it with Alice, they tried it with a few others, and they did all right. They did Cinderella, but they weren't grasping the audiences until Jungle Book came out, and it was like, wow. we have something here.
Mhm.
And it's really good, and we can continue. And I mean, really, it is the Lion King and the Jungle Book that are the two best. I mean, look at Dumbo, things like that. Like, they just don't stick as well.
Well, of course, Dumbo's not going to work. It's a terrible story. It's super sad. There is barely any uplifting part, and now you're going to make it live action? It's even worse. I mean, for crying out loud, the lead crow is named Jim Crow.
Yeah, I know. It's
made
rough.
in what, 38? Come on. Bad connotations all the way around. Not a fan of Dumbo.
See, I'm more of a fan of Dumbo than like Bambi or A Land Before Time, because they lose their mom. At least they
Land
lose
Before
their
Time.
mom. It's a sad thing. Shut up. Don't get mad. It's more because like he gets to be with his mom at the end. That's it. I like that happy ending of he gets to be with his mom.
Yeah, but that's not reality.
All right, you're not wrong. Brought to you by Fizzy Water. So, yeah, but when it comes down to like going back to Mandalorian and everything they're doing, it's just, it was really so well done. Beautiful. I love that they've made it so Pedro Pascal can take off the helmet, which was one of his biggest concerns of like, I'm an actor and you never get to see my face. I don't think you ever needed to. You felt everything that he's that good of an actor. He should have more faith in him.
You heard it in his voice. You saw it in his body language. The guy played it perfectly.
Yeah. And I just think he should give himself more credit.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't a huge fan of the Dumbo live action. The movie is about Disney and their takeover. That is true. And you get Danny DeVito in a top hat.
Mm-hmm.
I do love Tim Burton, though. I mean, I will go back and watch it because I love Tim Burton. But like going back to Mandalorian, like, you know, now you have so much open there. Bo-Katan, what's going to happen with her? They're going to have to obviously face off at some point.
Yep.
How's that going to go?
Mm-hmm.
He now has to lead the Mandalorians. You introduce Luke, you know, so you can bring him back.
Now you've got Mayfeld, who's out there. You got Cara Dune, who's still rocking, so she could have her own storyline as the Marshal. You've got Carl Weathers, who will just fit anywhere and everywhere because he's phenomenal.
He directed an episode this season too.
That's right, he did. I forgot about that.
So with this, I did read something. Oh no, I'm sorry. I watched a YouTube video. It was kind of like why doesn't Luke Skywalker and Mandalorian look like Luke Skywalker in Return of the Jedi? He's just a little off, and he's a little too pretty, is what a lot of people are saying. And you know, they did this whole thing, and they're like, if you look at him in the animation they did, he looks just like. And now, mind you, this is all fan stuff. This is all fan. I'm just throwing out
because I disagree with it wholeheartedly. So,
well, they said like if you look at him, he looks a lot like Sebastian Stan.
Yeah. Oh, I heard that. Yeah.
Don't agree. I don't disagree. I mean, he does look a lot like Sebastian Stan, and a lot of people, you know, are kind of jumping into it. And like this video states, there's like, is it that maybe they could bring Luke back in the future, but Sebastian Stan plays him? Mm-hmm. And I wanted to ask you this question because I'm going to tell you my answer first. I don't care if he does. If he does, I'm fine with it. I'll watch a Luke Skywalker movie with Sebastian Stan. What do you think? You're a purist.
Yeah, wholeheartedly. And I am not the biggest Sebastian Stan fan. But it's not because he's a terrible actor. It's not because I dislike his face. I think he's very pretty. My problem is he doesn't grab me. You know, he's a little, I don't know, he's missing something. He doesn't have that it factor for me. Not that Hamill necessarily did, but that's Luke Skywalker. And at the same token, at this point, they're all old. Mark Hamill already came out and said he's cool with it. He doesn't care what they do. He respects and loves what Favreau's doing. So, hey, if the man himself says it's cool, it's cool.
I think at some point the fans are, and that's kind of the point I came to with it, especially after watching the last three. I was like, if we're going to do this and we're going to do it right, you have to start recasting.
You do, and you have to get over your own preconceived notions. And I think that's a real big problem with what happened with these last three movies is everyone was so worked up on their story and what they'd wanted. And we had 30 years of books and 30 years of comics and all these different stories. So when it didn't go exactly their way, the purists freak out and missed out on what was a good series, was a good story. It was a wonderful saga. Then people get so eaten up on their own ideas that, I mean, you never actually hear, you lose the message.
I agree. Yeah, and at this point, like, I mean, the storytelling wasn't fantastic.
No, agreed.
A lot of things were shoehorned in. A lot, you know, they went a little too politically correct on a lot of things because just to shine a light, that's like, I mean, just tell a story. Don't shoehorn things in to tell a story. I don't mind if you tell a story that is trying to pass your message, but don't put the message in the story that other people are like shoehorn that message in rather than make it a part of the story, I guess.
Agreed. And it's unfortunate because you really lose opportunities like to follow Finn's story more, to follow Poe's story more. And that was the unfortunate part, is they diminished other characters that deserved more screen time, more role. You know, I want to know more about them.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I feel like I got to know more about them in the new Lego holiday special than I did in 3 movies.
Yeah, I stay away from all Star Wars holiday specials. I was burned once. They'll never get me. Burn once, never get me again. Never.
First of all, we were not born when that came out. Nobody burned us. We were not burned for the holiday special.
Speak for yourself.
It was already abysmal beforehand. But it gave us Boba Fett.
Yeah, valid.
So it's not all bad. And it gave us Life Day. Happy Life Day, Casey.
Hey, happy Life Day, Mike.
Ryan says, I've been told I've been too pretty. I've been too pretty, too.
I mean, obviously. Look at that chiseled jaw. My goodness.
He is, and Brian, just so everybody knows, is the host of the Sports Snobs, which will be on a special time on Christmas Eve and 10 a.m. because after I broadcast these shows, I'm done for the year.
How stoked are you to be able to just kick back for a week, bro?
Oh my God. I'm going to miss it because I'm already thinking about next week, but you and I can at least get together and plan something for the year coming back. Mm-hmm. So like that, we could take that week to at least like pre-plan.
Week one shirtless show. We'll work it out.
For you, maybe. And I want to shine a light on this wonderful shirt that you have on right now that you've had for years that you made yourself. Yes, you made it yourself. So everybody out there is like, oh, I bought one of those. I bought one. No, this man made this himself. I was there, and it is awesome.
And then went out immediately and subsequently watched Die Hard and got drunk.
There's nothing wrong with that. I might watch Die Hard tonight. I got really into the show, and I reached out to him too. It's a YouTube show called Cinema Therapy. Mm-hmm. There's two buddies. One's a licensed therapist, and the other one's a filmmaker. And they talk about different aspects of mental health and different things, and kind of incorporate them into like movies, certain movies that they watch and stuff like that. So Die Hard was about marriage counseling, mm-hmm. You know, like the positive things that they're doing or the signs that you see that like, and they relate it to what a counseling would be with it.
Well, I mean, but he tried. You got to remember. I mean,
and they say that. Yeah, they say that the change in that is huge because a lot of the things that he does are things that you will find in marriage and even just in relationships, you know, how you talk to each other, not keeping your walls up and stuff like that to be guarded and not being able to be open and honest because of it and things like that. And just like how you argue, like they really get in depth about things.
Oh yeah. And especially having to, murder some Germans along the way.
Well, they definitely have fun with that too.
I mean, marriage is a serious thing.
One of their best episodes is they talk about toxic masculinity with Lord of the Rings. Specifically Aragorn.
Really?
And how he is the complete epitome of everything anti-toxic masculinity. Every choice he makes, everything he does in the movie is completely a 180 from toxic masculinity.
Well, Mike, now you've completely skewed me, and I'm going to have to rewatch that with some new eyes.
They have so many ones for the Lord of the Rings that are really good, too. They talk about, like, isolation syndrome with the Two Towers, stuff like that. It's a great show. If everybody, I love how I pitch so many other shows. Watch our show, please, and tell your friends. But check out Cinema Therapy, too, because since I've been watching it, it's actually been helping me not cope, but understand mental health better in many areas. Things that affect me, things that affect others, how to talk to others. How.
So you're no longer standing over top of them and pointing and yelling?
Yeah, I was never allowed to do that anyway. I'm too big. If I duct taped a gun to my back, I'd scream when ripping it off and give it away. I have no doubt about
that is a fantastic moment in one of my favorite Christmas movies, which I believe was one of the topics we were planning on discussing this evening, sir.
We were. Well, actually, I do want to touch down on one thing because I really want to get full-fledged into Christmas.
Okay.
And there's just two topics real quick that I want to kind of cover, and that's The Stand, which is a new show that came out.
Mm-hmm.
I know you haven't had a chance to see it, and I'm not going to ruin anything for anybody who hasn't had a chance to see it. I like it. I want to see where it's going. This is kind of my quick review of it. I want to see where it's going. I think you should watch it and check it out and let me know what you think. Because you've seen the original. I read the book in high school. And it was
I looked at the book a lot. Like I stared at it and was like, that's a lot of book.
Like I remember all of the key points, and I mostly remember them from watching the miniseries in high school as well. For me, this version, I like the fact that they're doing it up to date. I like the cast that they got. Alexander Skarsgård is playing what's his name?
A vampire?
No, he's the Randall Flagg. Sorry, the main villain in the movie is my main antagonist. And if you remember Gary Sinise in it, I can't remember the characters' names at the moment.
Honestly, man, it's been a long time. The Stand is a bit of the out of bounds there.
That's fair. That's very fair. But you should check out the new show. I kind of like that it's breaking up. It's not like an 8-hour 4 movies. You know what I mean? Like it's hourly. It's a mini series. They're going to tell the whole story. I like what they're doing, and I just kind of wanted to give that up to people, who are watching this stuff to go check it out.
Totally fair.
With that, I want to cover, before we get into the Christmas topics, I want to cover my top 10. This is a sneak peek because next week I have an article coming out, and it's going to be, and that's the only thing that's coming out as an article. It's an article on the my top 20 of 2020, and you will get the whole list. And with I'm not even going to give you my blurbs of what I feel about each movie. I just want to give you my top 10 as sort of a sneak peek before the year ends, so you have time to watch these movies, because a lot of them you really should check out.
I, on the other hand, when I list mine off, took a lot of time to figure these out because it was a struggle.
Well, I finally figured out my top 20, because it's been taking me a while, but my top 10 in order are: number 1, Cosmos. Go check it out. 2, Fat Man. 3, Palm Springs. 4, Uprooted: The Journey of Jazz Dance. It's a great documentary. 5, Just Mercy. 6, The Invisible Man. 7, The King of Staten Island. 8, Spaceship Earth. 9, The Speed of Time. And 10 is Rook.
Interesting. Which
you can go rent now on Amazon. And I've actually I've had the filmmaker on the show. I've watched it and brought him on immediately, and we might have him on again. He reached out to me, so he might come on the show with us.
Cool. My 10 in no particular order, because trying to put them in order, I realized, was just too damn hard. It's just, I think I wrote down 15 and I couldn't figure it out. So I watched a whole lot of movies with River, obviously. So there was a bunch of animated stuff, and I really wanted to put some of those down. And that's why eventually it was like, I'm not even going to bother trying to put these in order. It was too much scribbling. So in no particular order, here are my top 10 favorite movies released in 2020 for 2020. Fat Man.
Nice.
I mean, out and out, brilliant. It's a Christmas movie that is just badass with Walton Goggins playing the psychopath. It's brilliant. Brilliant. Huge fan, not to mention the Elms Brothers, pretty cool. I would like to give a shout out to our guy who came up with Getaway. So
Blake Weaver. Yeah.
Blake Weaver. I haven't finished the movie yet. I'm halfway through right now. I rented it on Amazon, and I had to stop because I was doing prep for this too. And I was like, so Fat Man, Wolf of Snow Hollow.
Great movie. That's on my top 20.
Is
I
it?
give away too much.
Yep. Too much. The Big Ugly. Very fun. Yeah, it's Vinnie Jones and Ron Perlman. A lot of fun. Yeah, definitely worthwhile. Bad Education. Like that.
I'm not gonna confirm nor deny whether it's on my list.
Fair enough. Arkansas.
I did see it.
I really dug Arkansas. It really stuck with me. This one is a toss-up for River. Enola Holmes. I loved it. I loved it. Henry Cavill Sherlock was really good. Then going into The Owners. I dug The Owners. Even though I saw it coming pretty much the whole way. The Doctor Who. Gosh, what's his name? I can't remember the actor's name. He was the fourth Doctor. No, he wasn't. That was a lie.
No.
Sylvester McCoy?
Was it Sylvester McCoy in the movie?
I think it's Sylvester McCoy. I think that's who it was. I'm pretty sure.
She was on Doctor Who. The chick from Game of Thrones.
Maisie Williams? Yeah, she played me. Yeah. And then Babysitter 2. Because I am a straight mark for that. I love the Babysitter movies. I think they're fantastic.
I didn't like it as much at first, but I did like it.
Yeah, fair. And Freaky.
Oh, it's so good.
Freaky did such a great job throwing a monkey wrench. Just throwing that monkey wrench in there with the whole, this is a girl inside of Vince Vaughn's body and has a makeout scene with a boy, and it was still sweet and endearing. I was really impressed with that. I mean, Vince Vaughn giant man hand's still weird, but
Best for making me take Bill and Ted Face the Music off my list.
Sorry, man. I'm not saying I didn't like it, but it was entertaining. It wasn't top.
That's fair. I'm not listening. I mean, it's all good.
And that's where that list resides. So there's to the top 20s.
Ryan asked, Christmas Day, are you watching Wonder Woman? No, because I'm going to the theater to watch it, and I'm not sure I can make it out on Christmas Day. I will probably go out that weekend and check it out, though. We got somebody watching. Caleb Donald.
Caleb Donald.
What's going on, Caleb?
Merry Christmas, Caleb.
Merry Christmas to you and the Donalds. You guys are awesome. Thanks for joining and watching, buddy.
Yeah, man.
So, kind of switching gears, getting into our festive spirit of Christmas. I wanted to talk about some of our favorite, not movies, not Christmas movies, Christmas scenes in movies. Mm-hmm. What are some stuff that you love that stand out to you? It does not have to be deep. It can be very surface. It can be whatever you want. It can be specials. Caleb wanted to pop in and say hi. Long time no see. Yes, it is a long time no see. We do love seeing you. But yes, join us. Join in the comments, everybody, and with what your favorite scenes in Christmas movies and specials are.
So where do you lead off with here, Mike? I'm curious to see what angle you take. Like, what's something that strikes you right out the gate? Are you going with feels or funny?
I'm going with feels first.
Okay.
And the reason being, no, you know what? I'm going to go funny. I like it. I'm going to go funny first. It's not like, I'll tell you my favorite two, my top two are feels, but if I'm going funny, I mean, Home Alone, when he, just the literal entire last scene of all of the traps in the house. That scene, those scenes, I mean, because you can, it's different scenes, but like you can pretty much say it's one scene.
That's fair. When they're actually going through the traps and the tar and the nail in the foot and all that, yeah.
But I ending it at the point where he gets to the treehouse. Because everything from there is great. Do not get me wrong. But like that's where it's like really at its height. Is them coming up to the door and him like getting over and them getting on the rope. That's the height of it and the funny. But I will tell you one scene in Home Alone that really sticks out to me, and I laugh every time I see it, is John Candy and Catherine O'Hara. And he's telling the story about leaving his son. That is a masterclass in funny, because even just looking at her facial expressions the entire time, and their little thing at the end where she's like, "Can we stop talking about this?" She's like, "Well, you brought it up." She's like, "Yeah, no. Can we just not?" It's brilliant. It's brilliant comedy.
Yeah, well, to go along with the Home Alone, actually, Home Alone 2 has my favorite funny moment, which is when Daniel Stern is getting bricks to the face. That gets me every time.
Well.
It is hilarious.
It really is. He plays it so well. He played, I think 2 was more his shining moment, because as funny as he was in the first one, they really evened it out well. But you can tell 2 was like, let's give a lot more to Daniel.
He really played that Dick Van Dyke slapsticky-esque. He's a tall guy. He does the lanky wobbly thing. That's my shtick. So, from the bricks to the face.
It works so well.
It really does.
Brian says, Peanut Special is my fave. I'm with you, buddy. That was a great one.
A lot of people there.
I love this because of how original it is. It is one of my personal favorites as well. Jason, I love it's a Bundy full Christmas with Sam Kinison. Sam Kinison playing Al Bundy's angel in that show.
So good.
I mean, I'll watch anything Kinison anyway. I wish that man did not die in a car crash.
You really think he would be alive now? You think he would have made it that much further?
I hope.
Wasn't he kind of a walking car crash?
I like to think anybody, if they survived the thing that would have killed them, they would have lasted. But that's an optimist.
Fair. Hey, look, it worked for the drummer for Def Leppard, so.
That's fair. Jesus Christ. Keep drinking your fizzy water. Home Alone 2's Trap for the same reason make me laugh so hard. Yeah, Daniel Stern's brilliant in it. Fave Home Alone scene is the cardboard cutout. On the train. Of course it is.
Singing Cougar.
It's Mr. Sports Snob, of course. It's Michael Jordan. There you go. The bricks. I was laughing so hard my daughter ran down and tried on me. It's just solid. He plays it so well. Like, we are always
Harry. I love that. I
love when he falls into the hole because the whole floor is missing, and he's like, "Wow, what a hole!"
I just love Joe Pesci during that whole brick sequence in the second one, screaming at Marv, hitting him, and everything else. Oh, it's great.
Well, I just imagine that was Joe Pesci just being annoyed.
Yeah, fair, probably. But isn't he most of the time?
But I feel like there's a missing comedy in Christmas that we're really, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Oh, well, one of my favorite scenes of all time is Grace. The blessing. It's a quick little one-liner. It's great. Although from that movie, this is actually one of my moments. It is when he gets the check, the Jam of the Month Club. That freak out right there. We're going to be the happiest sides.
We're going to be the happiest bunch of assholes since
this side of the nut house.
Yeah. No, this side of since Danny Kaye was dancing with Doris Day or something like that.
Since Danny Kaye tap dance with since Bing Crosby tap dance with Danny fucking Kaye. There it is.
Yes, good.
Found it.
That was a good one. That's such a solid rant. He improv that. Yeah, that was one of his Chevy Chase originals.
No,
I love his quick-witted one-liners, like when he's talking to the neighbors, and they're just like, "Where are you going to put that?" And just like, "Bend over, I'll find it, and you'll find out." And they're just like, "You can't talk to me like that. I wasn't talking to you." And he's like to his wife, like,
exactly.
It's so funny though. Those are some great scenes. But I got to hit you with the feels, man.
Fire away.
All right. Charlie Brown being sad in the special, and then they kind of follow him out and they rebuild the tree with Snoopy. And him coming back to see what they did, and they all just sing. It's touching, man.
It's timeless. It's one that affected us as a kid. It really did.
Not one of my tops, but that is definitely up there. I love that.
Yeah, one of the ones that actually just recently got me is actually a movie called Noelle. Came out last year. Really phenomenal movie. Forgive me, pardon. Fantastic flick. And there's a scene where she goes into a homeless shelter, and there's a daughter and her mom, and the daughter can't speak. She only does sign language. And this is how basically Noelle comes to find out that she's the Santa Claus, is because she randomly is able to just start talking to her. And it's a really beautiful scene that when Noelle gets the power of Santa, she starts to cry because this little girl looks up and calls her Santa Claus. And just that moment of Santa Claus, man. I was watching it with River the other day. We're sitting here eating junk food, just bawling her eyes out. It was ridiculous.
You know, it was a fun one. The kids and I and Mary started doing it tonight. I printed up holiday bingo game boards, and they're just pictures of different things.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll watch, like, we're still going. We each picked one game board, and we watched The Grinch, the original, How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And you mark everything you say. And whoever fills the board first wins.
That's pretty cool.
But we didn't get everything. So tomorrow, like, Jack picked tonight, Tommy's going to pick tomorrow night, and then, like, we'll go till Christmas. If somebody wins, we'll get 4 new game boards.
Sweet.
So that would be a fun one.
That's awesome. One of the other big feels that I think is because I've always said White Christmas is my favorite Christmas movie, hands down. The scene where the old general comes walking into that whole banquet hall filled with all of his old men that were under his command.
I knew that you would go with this.
Yeah, of course. I mean, kidding me? It's the most touching thing ever.
It is.
We'll follow the old man wherever he wants to go. It's like, yeah.
It's so hokey, and it's perfect. It's perfect Christmas hokey for the time.
Yep.
And it's funny because back then it was so straight. Like, I feel like they made that and they weren't like, what's the hokiest thing we can write? I feel like they did that and they were like, how can we honor this general?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and coming out, a lot of these guys who were actually in the war, coming out of it, making this movie, I feel like they were writing it and probably like, this is something we'd want to see.
Yeah.
And that's why I feel like, yeah, it's hokey by today's standards, but it's a hokey that I feel like so many other Christmas movies try to emulate that type of hokiness. And it's not just that. It's the same with Miracle on 34th Street and, others. But I feel like that it wasn't just that was, because listen, we knew what Hollywood was like behind the camera. Trust me. It wasn't hokey. It was disturbing at best.
And Bing Crosby beat his kids, and I mean, come on, it was great.
But I feel like there was a genuine feel when they wrote those. Like
there was.
What we're trying to do.
And sometimes it translated. Sometimes it became hokey. This is, for me, one of the few times that I think it maintained. It didn't overdo. It didn't underdo. It just nailed it. It was one of the few times that they absolutely crushed it, knocked it out of the park, and has been timeless and maintained ever since.
Well, here's the funny thing. I don't think the whole movie is hokey.
Oh, no.
And the only reason I say it is, but I still love it, and I still think it fits perfectly, and I think it absolutely is a great choice on your part. And it deserves to be in the upper echelon of awesome Christmas movie moments. The only reason I would say it's okay is you're getting all these great dancers and singers throughout the entire movie, but then every guy in that platoon knew how to sing. So, like, when you watch it, you're just like, so you're all just natural born singers, like, but you forget that because of the beauty of the scene. Or right. You accept that at least.
You accept it. Yeah. I mean, even when it reaches the end, when they're like, oh, it's snowing and everyone's all excited and happy, like that to me was a bridge too far. I didn't really care about that part.
Yeah.
It was seeing the look on the old man's face and all his daughter or granddaughter and the helper lady maid. I don't know what she did. Ran the hotel, I guess. Yeah. The look on her face, the people who cared about him, seeing how it affected the gift that he was given. It was beautiful. I think that's very Christmas spirit, and that's what it should be.
Yes. It's also a great scene in that movie, too. Right before then, when the granddaughter is looking up in admiration as he's coming down the stairs in his dress uniform. Mm-hmm. And it's like that right there is such a beautiful way to honor soldiers, especially the soldiers who fought in World War II. Mm-hmm. The uniform, in general, and just like, it really showed that this is his granddaughter. She's never seen this side of him. He's never allowed it. And
the way he even asked her, do I look foolish? Like, he's concerned about the way he looks, and she's in awe. She's enamored.
But I think that's indicative of, and to kind of get serious for a second, and you're a veteran, so at least you know this, is that when it comes to, we know plenty of people who went to war, and we know they come back and they don't talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's, we don't do it, we don't talk about it. And you never learn really that side of them, you know? But for us, we come in and we're like, you know, I admire what you did. I admire you for doing this. You know, we don't push. But when we learn more, whereas they think you're going to hate me for the things I did,
Mm-hmm.
or I'm going to scare you with the things I did, it always turns into an admiration of like, wow, you went through hell and you did that for us. Like, you know, my brothers, they were very much the same way. They never really opened up about it. But when I did learn something and they were scared, like, wow, you're going to see me differently. And I did. But I had to reassure them, like, I don't see you differently in a bad way. To me, it strengthens me looking at you as heroes, you know? And I think that shot of her face as he walks down the stairs emulates that perfectly. Because I think everybody knows that. Because everybody who knows somebody who's been to war can feel that, you know?
And yet he's the ideal soldier, a man who is just a guy who did his job.
Yeah, a general, nonetheless. And he treated himself like he was just some guy.
Just a dude.
You know? Well, let's lighten it up a little bit, because now we're getting a little misty-eyed, I think. And we have more feels coming. So, Brian, your favorite Christmas song, Little Drummer Boy. I want to touch down on that real quick.
The David Bowie version?
It has to be. If it's not the Bowie version.
Get out of here, Brian. Get out of here, Brian.
Sorry, the Bowie version, Bowie Bing Crosby is the best version. Mine changes every year to the one I want to hear the most. I will say the one that I love the most is the Christmas song by Nat King Cole.
Agreed. Oh, yes. Nat King Cole's voice, man. That is the most Christmassy thing you get.
Only his version. I will listen to other versions, but only his version is my favorite.
Agreed.
But like, I find myself each year having like a particular favorite. This year, for some weird reason, is Last Christmas by George Michael.
Really?
I don't know what it is. I feel like I've become a bit of a purist with that song, especially since he died.
Wait, like, how could you be a purist about that?
Everybody puts out a version of that song.
Okay, you're right. Taylor Swift did, which was pretty money. I mean, T-Swa did. She knows what's up.
A lot of them are good, but none of them are as good as George Michael's.
Agreed. I mean, I'm such a Wham fan.
Yeah. I mean, I don't care.
Careless Whisper, bro. The greatest.
And any version. Poor kid that can only drum. Yeah, that's what a pregnant, not a pregnant, that's what a Mary who just gave birth needed, is a little drummer boy.
Exactly. Hey, just right up there. Hey! But that's actually in that same vein. I recently have had one of my songs kind of change, because it was always the Andy Williams, the We Wish You a Merry Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
That was just, it's kind of one of those weevils get stuck in there and you're just trapped on that hamster wheel.
Great version.
Yeah, fantastic. This year, though, it has been, I'm going to miss it, Don Henley's.
Wow.
Yeah. Please come home for Christmas. It's not dark, man. Just, it's 2020.
No,
I'm not traveling anywhere. I'm not doing anything. I'm not visiting family. It's like, man, I'm going to sit here and just listen to this and imagine an old guy lighting a street lamp in like 1860.
We can Skype. Let's Skype. We'll Skype on Christmas Day. Oh, wait, I'm not going on the right thing. I have to. Well, so one thing, another song that I've always, like, I started hating, and I love this song now, is Simply Having Simply Having. Don't want to get screwed today. So I will say, like, for me, that's a good song. One I hate.
Oh, yeah, bring it on, bro.
Damn you, Sheena Easton. Christmas All Over the World. Ugh. Hate that song.
Oh, it's a good thing I am not familiar with that song. I'll tell you a song I hate, and I have hated since I had to sing it like 9 freaking years in a row, going to the old folks' home and singing Silver Frickin' Bells. If I have to hear Silver Freaking Bells every freaking fourth song on the 97.1 Wash FM radio station where it's just crap, Silver Bells. Like, I got River now on fire with it too. I was just ranting about Silver Bells in the car, and she was dying. I think she might have peed a little. It's pretty funny. It's an awful song, and all it is just a pounding, driving beat into your face, and it doesn't do anything. You don't feel better because you heard Silver Bells. No, you don't. I'm terrified now because of Silver Bells.
Silver Bells.
Ah.
Carrie video, all I want. Laugh out loud, sexiest. No, the sexiest is Tony Braxton's. That's the sexiest music video of all time. The one with her and Tyrese. Not Tyrese. It was
no. Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, real quick, Jason. I'm going to get to your Saved by the Bell in a second because we're going to go back to specials and movies. But Mike says, no, simply having a wonderful Christmas time is the literal worst. It is not the literal worst. The literal worst is Sheena Easton.
Silver Bells is the worst. Here come the bells. I hear the bells. All the darn bells. There's just more bells.
Oh, Jesus. And
Get ready for our show tonight.
I don't care how problematic that song is. I love Baby It's Cold Outside.
I like that one. Actually, it was kind of funny because River was mixing that up with Let It Snow. And she's like, hey, Daddy, at the end of this song, do they stay together? I was like, oh no, wrong one, honey. Yeah, no. See, remember they brought some corn for popping, so they're cool in Let It Snow. Baby, it's cold outside. He's slipping Mickeys in her drinks. Of course, I haven't explained that to her yet. She thinks it's like, ha ha. But
listen, he was not slipping Mickeys in her drinks. Everybody talked like that back in the day. Like, what is in this drink? It's very strong. Like, you are a bartender, you know.
Like Cosby. Did
that was
Bill Cosby hung up?
That was Baby, You're Out Cold. That's what that was. I refuse to believe Baby It's Cold Outside is a Cosby song.
Baby, You're Out Cold. That's perfect.
Baby, we have to write a version.
Mm-hmm.
Baby, you're out cold. I'm the only one singing.
Because, baby, you're out cold with the pudding and the bagoo.
Oh, we got Caleb back. Caleb says John Lennon's "So This Is Christmas" is where it's at.
Great.
That's a good one.
Great. No, I love that song. Yeah.
Can you get some respect for Bruce? Oh, Bruce Springsteen. Bruce.
Whom?
Bruce Springsteen.
Is that one of those Jersey guys?
He's the boss. You shut your mouth. I love Santa Claus is Coming Back Down, his version with the E Street Band. I love it. I love that version.
It is fun, yeah.
Jay says, it's not Christmas until you hear Dean Martin begging a woman to spend the night. He is not begging. He is like, take this drink it up. See, I'm not saying he slipped Mickey's. I am saying he got him drunk. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not defending his actions. I'm saying I don't think Dino had to slip Mickey's. He is not Cosby. He was pulling it off. He would just feed him drinks. He'd be like, here you go.
See, here's the funny thing is I think Dino probably didn't because he just performed it. The guy who wrote that song is problematic.
That's fair. Brian says you can't like that song in this day. Sure you can. We just
Silver Bells? You're right. You can't, Brian. I agree.
Yeah, I love it. I should send you. I wish I sent you a card that sings Silver Bells.
Oh God, it
just me singing Silver Bells. You have to listen to it. I sang.
Well, with those dulcet tones, I'd be in.
So I'm going to segue back real quick. I want to go. I love the music talk, but I want to segue back to the shows because Jason brings up a good point. Saved by the Bell's Christmas special, where they put on the Scrooge play at the mall. It's so stupid. I can't help but laugh so hard. It's great. I watch it yearly.
I love it because they help that dad out.
Yep.
And all because Zach's trying to get some.
And yeah, I know. It's so weird. Hey, we're going to get you a job so I can bang your daughter in front of my ex-girlfriend, who will be my future wife. It's just
classic Zach Morris.
Classic. He's such a scumbag. I will say this. That taught me something. That if you spilled something on yourself, you can turn the automatic dryer to direct it right at where you spilled something. And that has helped me on many occasions. So
I mean,
thank you.
that's a good life lesson. I actually learned how to wrap presents because watching the struggle that I think Screech is the one who was working there went through. So
Somebody was.
yeah, I feel that pain.
Yeah, those mall episodes are very weird. Like let's all sleep in a tent in the mall so we can buy tickets to it. Yeah, we'll do an episode about Saved by the Bell at some point.
Yeah, that's a good 4 hours to unpack, man.
Yeah, we really do. Just further proof. But Jason says yes, me too. Ever since then, I use that to dry my shirts. Right? Yeah, I mean it helps. It absolutely does. If I had one in my house right now, I would show you by pouring something on my shirt.
Yeah, no, same way over here. Like as an old man, whenever you just pee a little on your pants and it winds up all the way down your ankle.
What kind of fizzy drink are you drinking?
Well, sometimes you forget to unzip all the way.
All right, fair enough. I mean, it happens.
Yeah, you just gotta, you're in the bathroom. It takes about 45 minutes. It'll get out. It'll dry.
Listen, Jason Taylor. I know you're saying it was Slater with the rapping, and you're saying he couldn't rap anything.
He wrapped it up,
but he rapped in that song. And in that he rapped that song in that one episode, and he could rap. I screwed that up, so I'm just going to leave it alone.
All right, fair enough.
It says you're not shaking it enough. The problem is it's too big, so all the pee in the back hasn't gotten to the front yet. By the time he's already tucking it in.
You are so kind, Michael. It's like a rice, just a little grain.
The ladies need to know the truth. And if you don't believe me, go find out. That's
wow. I love that. Yeah, great idea. Do what Mick said. Yeah, this guy. This guy.
Should put your phone number up on the screen. It's like, call now.
Let's turn it into like a Saved by the Bell teen line episode.
We're going to do a telethon 8-hour episode next year, and it's going to be call now and set up a date with Casey. Win a date with Casey Hamilton.
I'm in. That sounds like a good March show.
Casey to go see Hamilton.
That's even better. We can watch it in my basement.
Hamilton, unless we're in a much better place. We get sponsors, maybe I'll do that. I used to like Casey. Oh, you still?
Oh, well, you know what, Brian? I still like you.
Snow White and the Seven Dorks. Worked on that movie. I worked on that movie at Full Sail. And that was that. And I met him in the bar.
Curiously enough, Mick, what is one of your other big moments for Christmas time that you think of that just brings you in when you say Christmas? If it's November coming around the corner and you see that it's about to be that time for the tree, what is that big one that grabs you that just immediately locks you in and goes, yeah, it's Christmas?
Big one that starts with me in November. There's one I have to watch every year. You know what that is. It has a lot of sentimental value to me. But a big one I have to watch every year is It's a Wonderful Life. Mm-hmm. And I'll talk about that because that's my number one scene in a second. But one that starts me off in November to watch, especially because it starts off in November, is Miracle on 34th Street, the original. There's a funny scene that always stands out to me in that. And that's when the drunk Santa is on the float and he's like, I ought to throttle you. It's just funny. The whole exchange is hilarious. But at the end, again, it's hokey, but it's so nice to watch. At the end, when the Postal Service is dumping all of the mail right on the judge's bench, and you're just like, you believe this man is Santa Claus.
Mm-hmm. No, it's very true. I'm with you. Although for me, it's more of the other end of the spectrum. It's Love Actually. Love Actually, man. It's the Hugh Grant and his personal assistant kissing. When the curtain goes up and all the kids are on the stage and they just finished the Mariah Carey song, done way better. And her connecting with a little boy, and there's that love tryst. And you're like, oh, and then they pull the curtains back, and oh no, it's the Prime Minister. I don't know why, it just gets my feels. I dig it.
I completely understand. I really like the scene from that movie where he's knocking on every door trying to find her.
Yeah, that's fair. And then when his gupper actually starts singing. It's so great.
It's so funny. Jace Taylor says Hans Gruber falling off the building.
Classic. Classic. That's how I finish my Christmas.
Yeah, that's legit. Nightmare Before Christmas. I don't care what anyone says. It's a Christmas movie.
Absolutely agree.
That fair can be either that
100%.
or a Halloween movie.
It's more Christmas.
I agree, but I mean, I can see where some people would say Halloween.
Well, they're wrong.
That's fair. I'm not one of them who will defend it, so it's okay by me.
I know, it's great.
That says Christmas more than anything. I just watch it. It's a wonderful time for the first time. What a great movie.
Still won't watch it. It's Frank Capra. Boo.
Really?
I mean, how many times have we seen that movie played out? How many times have we seen it done?
Yeah, but I mean, Christmas Carol can be said the same.
Well, yeah, Christmas Carol's fantastic, especially Muppet Christmas Carol,
We
the best
parodied-
Muppet Christmas carols.
We parodied A Christmas Carol tonight. Everybody has every show in existence has parodied A Christmas Carol, including ours. So, like that, I mean, I can't get behind It's Wonderful Life getting played out because it's still the original that does it,
Mm-hmm.
and I gotta hold true for the original.
Hey, that's totally fair, and I understand. But when you say original, those were all versions. You know what I'm saying? There's different TV shows and movies interpretations of It's a Wonderful Life versus A Christmas Carol, which is so great. It has 19 different versions of the same damn story with no variation. You know, we are in the Victorian era London with a crickety Tiny Tim, you know, is that was
Well, I will argue with you because I know you said The Muppets Christmas Carol, but I'll say Scrooge is the best version in my opinion.
Oh, it's so hard to fight you. Oh, I can't fight you. Oh gosh, it is so good. It's amazing. I love that movie. And it's so hard to disagree with you. I don't even know if I can, man. Dang it, Mike.
Well, I will say my number one, right in the feels. It makes me tear up every time I watch it. And we're saying It's Wonderful Life, but like that ending of It's Wonderful Life when they come in and save him. And he realizes, I have friends.
I can't remember how many times you have told me that line. Like at one point, you actually recited the line to me. I don't remember if you remember a couple years ago. This was around the
no man is a failure who has friends.
What's the strongest ship in the fleet?
Shut up. Friendship.
That's my buddy.
Don't quote me when I was drunk dialing. Jason Taylor's never seen Scrooge. Jason Taylor, you need to watch Scrooge.
Yeah, seriously, man. Stop what you're doing right now. Well, no, wait another 10 or 15 minutes, however long we take, and then go watch Scrooge.
Finish that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, let's do that. And then go watch our Festivus episode on Patreon.
Yes.
We're going to get real.
Yeah.
Hard pick between Scrooge and the Muppets Christmas Carol. Both good. Both great. Not even good. They're both great. I would say Scrooge is my favorite. Then the Alistair Sim Christmas Carol from 51 is probably my second favorite. Muppet Christmas Carol's up there, though.
Yeah, for me, it's Muppet, and then Scrooged, and then the Patrick Stewart one.
And the Doctor Who Matt Smith Christmas Carol.
Oh, that was a really good one. I really dug that one, yeah.
And yeah, the ending is so powerful for sure. I mean, he learned how much of a wonderful life he truly has. Mm-hmm. And then they hit you with, you have a wonderful life to the point where you don't care if you're going to jail for the rest of your life.
Well, it's a wonderful life. Give your money to the banks.
That's fair. No, the building and loan. No National Lampoon's talk. We already talked about National Lampoon's. We did. We already mentioned it. I mentioned Clark pretty early.
Absolutely.
Would you go get a drink, Brian? Come on.
Yeah, just rewind, buddy. You'll see it.
Yeah, it'll be up. The podcast will be up after this. So I want to go to, I kind of want to, we're getting towards the end of the show. I want to talk about some of our favorite Christmas memories. Just ones that are personal to us. It could be something you got when you were a kid. It could be a time or a moment. I'm going to take something off the table. Mm-hmm. Because it's automatically, I know, going to be first for us. But I want to make it a little harder to kind of go with.
Okay.
No kids. None of our Christmases with kids. Because it's just, those are going to be it. I
know.
Anybody who's a parent is going to say it's,
First one with River, man, because that Christmas Eve, we literally spent it in the hospital with her in that little glowworm bed. Yeah. Never forget it. It was beautiful.
20th or the 18th?
20th.
20th. Sorry, Mel was
You're
here.
right.
I have it on. I promise you, I have
How
it on.
dare you?
I am getting to a point where my brain doesn't work.
Nah, I
I
feel
remember
you.
movie scenes. That's it.
Mhm.
That's about it. 2020 has not been easy for me. My grandparents got me Atari. You are old, dude.
Well, no, I mean, I can go right in that vein because my parents got my sister and I Nintendo, and that was a huge one. That was the first time the game system, that was just, it was so special and neat, and we all shared it because that was with, the stepdad with the big old freaking JVC camcorder, making sure everyone gets in line, like, hey, get over here, up, you're out of the frame, and it's hilarious. So that's a good memory. I can't say it's my best because I was so geared on the river story that I can't.
You can tell the river story. I'm not opposed to that. I'm just saying, let's pick one that without the kids, just so that way we can kind of go.
Fair.
Jason
Hey,
says, good night, guys.
good night,
We need to
Jason.
get both on the Three Geeks next year. We have fun. Have a great Christmas. You have a great Christmas too, Jason. Thanks.
Great Christmas, Jason.
We are all about it. Come on the show. We're more than happy to go on with you guys. You have a great show over there.
There we go. Yep.
The year you got PS1 and Final Fantasy VII. Spent the rest of my holiday break hooked on that. That's a good That's a good choice.
I was the same way, but instead of Final Fantasy VII, it was Tactics. Final Fantasy Tactics. Same PlayStation 1, man. It was awesome. But that was also an older memory. I don't know, man. That first Christmas with River, Christmas Eve with her in the little glowworm bed. The next, day we finally get her out at like 6 a.m. We get her home. We've got that a junky half tree with like 8 little baubles on it and like 2 things of garland. It was special, man. It was really cool. Just her there cuddling with the kiddo, with Keiko, everybody. It was rad.
She's such a great dog. I will say this. It's one of my darkest Christmases, but it's one of my most memorable, and for a good reason. And that was the year I was very depressed. Things were not going well for me. This is 2012. And I'm going to talk about 2 Christmases tonight that were kind of dark and depressing. But I promised everybody if they stick with it, it's going to be bright and enlightening. It's going to be fun. But we'll save the other one for when I do my send-off. This one was, I was very dark, depressed place. And we've talked about this before. I know I've confided in you in this, and I have opened up about it on social media. And I hope this story, if it helps anybody during this year, please. I just hope it helps. And it was the year I decided I'm going to end it. I was going to commit suicide. And I was all for it. Nothing was going well for me. I was convinced that nobody cared. I was convinced of a lot of things, and I was ready to go. Had my final drink. I knew exactly how I was going to do it. I was in a bar. I was going to go. I get a text from a very dear friend of mine. He's co-host on BTV, Lenny. I had not heard from Lenny. We were not texting. We were not talking. Not angrily not talking. Just we were not talking beforehand. Like this was an out of the blue thing. And I got a text and he goes, I need to see you real quick. You got to come over. And I'm just like, listen, I'm just not there tonight. I'll talk to you tomorrow. My send off for him. No, man. No. Come over. So I go over, like thinking something's wrong. So I go over to see him. I was like, I'll spend some time with him, then I'm getting out of here. He comes in, he hops in the car with me. He's like, all right, we're going to take a ride. He's like, I got something for you. He gives me a gift. He's like, don't open it until after I leave. I was like, all right, whatever. I'm just not mentally there. I don't really care. So I spent about an hour with him. We got a couple subs from Wawa. We sat down, we talked, we had some laughs, some good times. And then afterwards, I dropped him off. I was like, that was amazing. And it's what I needed to leave on. Getaway. I pull up down the block or so. I open up the gift. I'm just curious at this point. I'm like, what did he give me? Like, I at least want to see because like he was making a big deal about it. I open it up. Now, I'm going to preface this with it was exactly what I needed, and he knew what I needed at that moment to save my life. And I've always credited him with doing that. So it may be morbid to some people, but it was exactly what I needed. He gave me a rope and directions on how to make a noose. I shit you not, I sat in that car for an hour laughing because it meant he saw the pain I was in his way, in a way that by that point, I had known him almost 20 years. In that moment, somebody saw me and saw the pain I was in and said, I'm making this all about you and showing you I care. And that's the one thing I walked away from that point. Never had those feelings again. Worked it out. Did what I needed to do.
Came down to Virginia.
Yeah, man. And that's going to be my send-off, though. So I'm not going to talk about that in a second. I got a lot tonight. But I want to say this. If there's any message that I can give anybody who's feeling down, feeling sad, feeling like nobody's there, and maybe thinking about taking your life. I know the holidays are a tough time for a lot of people.
Yeah.
2020 has been
nightmare.
Yeah, incredibly a nightmare. I will say this. Trust me. I know it doesn't feel like it, but there is somebody who cares about you. Maybe you haven't met them yet. Maybe you have met them and you need to reach out to them, but do it. Always take that, because there is never a point where there's somebody out there who wants to see you gone more than people who want to see you there. So I hope that helps. It really showed me that no matter what I go through, there are people in my life who, and you and I were friends at that point, you were a big proponent of getting down in Virginia and stuff. And again, I'm going to talk about you. I'm going to talk about that in a second on my send off, but I wanted to tell that because it's one of my best Christmases. One of my lowest points is one of my best, because it showed me the value of life. And anybody out there who's feeling down, I hope before you choose to do anything, find your value in life, because you have it.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, Mike, that was beautiful. Mine's definitely going to pale in comparison. But if we're talking about
your daughter is beautiful.
Well, you did the no kids one with this no kids rule.
All right, you can have a kid.
So with the no kids rule, it's actually one similar, but definitely not as dark. You had a fantastic turning point out of that. Mine was actually a stranger thing, because mine was the first Christmas I'd spent never with the family. So I was 21. I was down here in Virginia, kind of bickering because it's what I do. I'm just a pig-headed jerk. So I was like, I don't want to talk to anybody. I'm going to handle things on my own. I'll be fine. So I'm staying at the time a place I was renting, and with 5 other people. And everybody was shuffling through the day. They're all getting ready to leave in the morning. And I just come strolling down with combat boots on, boxer shorts, a wife beater, a freaking a big old terry cloth bathrobe, and my army helmet.
I know the look. Well, we were roommates.
Yep.
I know it well.
I had brown bagged, and this was the first time I'd ever done it. This was my first, I'm just going to do this. And I grabbed a big hole. It was Captain Morgan, bottle of Captain, and I turned on the Yule log and just sat there drinking. And about 30 minutes later, someone knocks on the door, open the door. And it's just a friend from someone at the house. And the way they just burst out laughing, it was just pure and utter joy from the other side of the door. They're like, you can come hang out if you need a place to be for Christmas. And I realized that just at that moment in my life, no, I needed to try it alone. I needed to see what it was to be alone during one of the worst holidays to be alone at. So if you could survive that, you can survive anything.
You know what? I love that. I'm going to have a similar story, but I'm going to tie it into yours in a sec. But let's real quick, I just want to go over Yes, we did say, Caleb, that is a great Christmas story and memory. And we did say no kids. We know you have two beautiful children.
Oh, God, they're gorgeous. How do you do it, Caleb? Oh, it's all the wife.
I mean, he's not wrong. Brian, if we can pick a kid story, Brody's third Christmas. First, he was post-cancer.
That's awesome. Well, that just trumps them all.
That is. Yeah, you did.
Awesome, Brian. Hell yeah, man.
Took the wind out of ourselves, but we're glad you did because that is amazing. Bro, I never knew that about you. I'd always would have been there for you. I know you would have, buddy. It was a matter of I wasn't ready to have people there for me.
Yeah, that's a whole different.
Yeah, that was a whole different beast.
Carton of eggs to unpack.
I needed somebody to push themselves in to do that. Definitely all the wife. 100%. We've seen your wife. We know.
I was at the wedding, clearly.
Casey, this started last year, so this is only an second annual thing.
Yep.
And it was just me last year, but now that you're back, we're gonna do send-offs. And please go first. I want to hear your send-off. I can't wait.
Well, Captain Segway hustled. I wasn't ready. No,
I'm not bad. I am bad at
just messing with you. You're terrible at Segways. That's part of your charm. This year has been tough on a lot of people for a lot of different reasons. Some of us have runny noses. Terrible. It's just miserable. I don't know what's happening today. A lot of things have happened. And there's been a lot of growth. And I think the strangest thing is going through the turmoil that I have seen in my life, in my friends' lives, in my daughter's life. I mean, just with school and all these other things, pushing forward the way this year has, the last 3 months have been nothing but the come up. The last 3 months have been the culmination of hard work, determination, a little bit of grit, and a whole lot of smiling. Because the best part of 2020 has been the reconnecting to the people that you really care about, the people that I personally really love, and really solidifying those relationships is the most important. And so I want to thank you, Mike. I appreciate you, man. This means the world. Being back here with you, it's just, it's just putting on that old suit feels good. Feels right.
It does.
It's nice.
For lack of a better term, it suits you.
Hey, so it's been a pleasure. And I want to thank you. And I cannot wait to see where the rest of the next year takes us.
Big places. Big places.
Big places.
It's going to be hard. I'm not even going to try and top that one because I'm not going to. But
he says he tops it.
It's Christmas, so I feel like it is a time of reflection. It's a time to figure it out. And I have been reflecting a lot, and a lot of this is going to be about you. Don't worry. I want to say to everybody first, not to pontificate everything or anything like that, but I want to start off by saying, Mike, I did warn everybody to bring the picture. I did say it in the Facebook post yesterday.
You warned me a lot, like 3 times. You kept me, get ready to cry.
Oh, don't worry. You're going to be bawling by the end. Get ready. So it's weird. I talked about 2012 being my darkest moment, but actually a Christmas, aside from the one with my kids and my wife and such, as one that means a great deal to me. I do want to say this: 2020 has been a year of complete loneliness on so many levels. And so many people are feeling it all over the world. It's insane to me that you can say all over the world, people are feeling isolated and lonely. And one thing I compare it to, because I am too, everybody is, some of us have families, some of us don't, living with them and things like that, and there's separation, but there's isolation everywhere. And it makes me think about another Christmas. It was 2009. I was working for God rest his soul, my mentor, Mr. Larry Flash Jenkins, for Gold Coast Productions. I was production manager and associate producer for him. And we were working on a slate of 7 movies and a TV show. So that was a big deal. That was a big job for me to do. And I had to stay behind in LA to do the work. Because for me, for my own, like, he wasn't saying you have to stay. It wasn't a Scrooge moment. It was for me, I was like, I have work I need to do, and it can't just be done anywhere. I need to focus. So anybody who doesn't live in LA, what you need to know is when Christmas time comes and things shut down, and everything shuts down right before Thanksgiving. But by December, everybody's gone. Nobody's from LA, for the most part. I'm going to take this off because the balls hit me in the ear. Nobody is from LA.
That's more common than you think.
Jesus. You're not wrong. We were roommates. So I was completely isolated. I didn't have any friends there. Nobody to even call and hang out with. I wasn't going to see my family. And I was okay with it. It's not like your situation, the story you told, your scenario, I should say, not situation. I completely understand that. Like this for me was it was a matter of isolation. So there was a depression there, but I chose it. So it wasn't like I was like, I'm on the outs of anything, or I just can't be there. But I understood. I compare it to 2020 in a way because I understand being isolated and physically not being able to go see somebody. Even when I went to go see a movie, nobody was in the movie. You know what I mean? So like, it was a crazy time, and it was very isolated. So 2020 reminds me a lot of that. And as we go through, I thought about the Scene Snobs. And I am very appreciative of where we all got. And a lot of that has to do with the amazing people I work with on these shows who help me every day. And all of you amazing people who are watching and listening now. But I know I'm kind of going on and on. One thing's for sure, when we started this, October of 2019, you and I started together. We had a falling out. Wasn't your fault. Wasn't my fault. It was both. It happens. Mm-hmm. And you left. Now, two things happened. One, I have to thank you for it, and it showed me that I was able to do this on my own. And two, it showed me that I really didn't want to. And I would bring on hosts, and they were fine. They were great. We had great times. And I have great hosts I host with. But there was kind of like a emptiness in a way. Like I wasn't filling the void. Because when we started, we were going on, and then and then I was by myself, and I was scared. And I was like, I'm trying to build this thing that's huge, and I was very scared. And I could not, with every host who again was great, and I cannot say enough. I mean, Lenny is one of the hosts. So anybody who knows me, I can't take away from them. But I have to say, when you came back in, the void was filled. We've had our ups and downs as friends. We've stopped talking to each other. We always come back. It does not last long enough. So in some instances where you think like this is going to last years, and we're like, no, we can't. It's not going to happen.
4 months is like our tops, bro.
Yeah, well, this one was a little longer, but I understood it. I understood why. And plus, 2020 really did not help.
Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of a thing there, so it was a little harder this year.
No, so what I want to say is you came back into the fold. And I've enjoyed doing this show, this particular show especially, for the full year and 3 months. But I have especially enjoyed it since you've been back. And I want to thank you for that. I could not imagine going on without you. I hope we never have the ups and downs again like that. Like, even if we have ups and downs.
Not like that.
Not like that.
That's in the past, brother. That part's done. You know why? Because after coming back with this, after doing this, after being with you again, you're right. This is where it's at. It's not that I want a podcast. I want a podcast with my friend.
Yes. And
this is what matters. And not to mention, we work really well together. And
we
God,
do.
between your looks and my laughs, we're like, sky's the limit.
So I got a great gift, and Casey coming back. I have a great gift in all of you as an audience coming and watching and listening and supporting Scene Snobs. We are building it all together. It is going to be a success. I have no doubt of that. And I'm not saying that boastfully, saying I'm going to make it a success. I'm saying it's going to be a success because I am surrounded by truly talented people who see my goals and see my vision for it, and they are willing to help along the way. And I'm very appreciative of that. It has been a crazy year. It's been a sad year. It's been a rough year. But it's also been a year where we found ourselves within ourselves. There's a lot of internal looking, and we've dealt with a lot of hardships, and it showed to us, I think, personally, who we all are. We're going into 2021, wishing for the best. I wish all of you a very Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah if you celebrate Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa if you celebrate Kwanzaa. Going forward, all the holidays, happy holidays to all of you, Happy New Year. And let's go into it and let's just kick ass. That's what it's going to be. We'll be here to entertain you along the way. We have lots of fun stuff coming up. I'm not going to go on and on about all that. I am going to say, I want to talk to, Caleb just said, thanks for the show, guys. Good seeing you guys again. We love you, Caleb.
Love you, Caleb.
Appreciate you watching, man. Brian says, wishing luck to Guapo and his mother. Guapo, our host on the Guapo show. His mother has COVID, unfortunately, and she's in the hospital. Praying for her, full recovery. Our hearts are with you, buddy. 100%. John has just been an amazing addition to the Scene Snobs. We appreciate having him, and we are there for you, whatever you need. Casey, thank you.
Mike, thank you.
I appreciate you being back, bro.
Hey, man.
I was going to be more articulate, but I can't, because then I'll start crying.
Bro, man, look, I love you. This is where it is. This is where it matters. All right. We're in this thing. We're doing this thing. We have these wonderful people who decide to take this hour, which normally it's not an hour and a half. Sorry, guys. We're going a little long, special show. But you spend an hour of your time with us, and it means the world. Because we just want to entertain, we want to have fun, and we want to bullshit because life is hard. Let's come here for a little bit and make it easy.
Yep.
So, Mike, thank you. I love you. Everyone, happy holidays. Be good to each other.
Yes. Thank you all so much. From the Scene Snobs family to all of you and your families, happy holidays and Happy New Year. Love you.